Pain is a protection system. So if you touch a hot stove, your body will scream so that you don't lose your hands. But when it comes to emotional pain, we have been taught a lie. We are told to sit with it, to be tolerant, and that time heals all wounds. But time, it doesn't heal a Chiron wound. While other pain fades, Chiron pain is relentless. It doesn't scream. It hums, like a low haunting church chant that won't stop until you acknowledge it. And ignore it long enough, it can become as lethal as any physical alignment. When Chiron enters a house in your chart, it activates a void. As suddenly you become hyperly aware of what is missing, what was denied or taken away. Most people are focused on emotions like anger or passionate love, but they forget how powerful an agent of change pain can be. When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, you shift your entire life direction. You rewrite your underlying programming. You change things that no other planet could touch. Because under Chiron's influence, you realize that paying attention to your wounds, it's a matter of survival. Aries represents the will, the ability to assert, to initiate. But to understand the pain of Chiron in Aries, we need to look at the opposite sign. We need to look at Libra. In its lowest form, Libra is excessive people-pleasing. It's sacrificing your safety and your needs just to keep the peace. It's likely where you spend years caving under other people's expectations, feeling restricted and invalidated. And the cost of that sacrifice became too high. And you realized that the only way to survive was to take back control. This is the lone wolf path that many of us have been walking since 2018. Depending on which house in your chart this transit falls for you, whether it was your career, your love life, your daily routines, it's where you stop asking for a savior and became your own. Chiron in Aries has spent the last few years asking us, where have you finally put your foot down? Where did you stop asking for permission to exist? Look back at those times and those things where you became a self-proclaimed rebel. That was not you being difficult. That was your Chiron healing. You mastered emotional strength to put yourself first. If Aries is the will to act, Taurus is the right to exist. It is the sign of the body, the earth, and the physical resources we need to stay alive. And when Chiron is here, the pain is visceral. It's not just a feeling. It feels like a famine in your soul. And you might have spent your life feeling like you're constantly at the edge of a cliff, waiting for the money to run out, or feeling like your physical body is a stranger that you cannot trust. But remember the rule. To understand the wound of Chiron in Taurus, we need to look at the opposite sign. We need to look at Scorpio. Take Scorpio at its lowest manifestation. Constant crisis, emotional volatility, live in a state of psychological war, where it's everything or nothing. And with Chiron entering Taurus, this will become painfully visible. What are the things that are constantly being taken away? Or an environment where emotional drama is the only currency. You learn that nothing is stable. You learn that to be safe, you had to navigate the intense dark waters of others' crises, often at the expense of your own comfort and peace. And now this cost will become too high to ignore. And the pain of living in survival mode or scarcity consciousness will become a relentless chant that keeps you up at night. This is where the transformation happens. You realize that you cannot wait for the world to become a stable place in order for you to feel safe. You have to claim your own stability. The healing of Chiron is not about getting a big bank account, though that often happens as a byproduct. The healing is when you stop begging the world for security and you become the source of it. You start treating your body like a sacred ground and start realizing you are the most valuable asset you will ever own. In a world that profits from your insecurity, choosing to feel enough, it's an act of war. You stop asking for permission to feel comfortable, you stop waiting for a savior to pay your bills, and you become a master of your own material reality. Whether it's the fire of Aries or the earth of Taurus, Chiron is telling you the same thing. The pain is a compass, and it's pointing directly to that place where you're being called to stop being a victim and to start being a master. So look at your chart, find that house, stop waiting for the pain to go away, and start listening to what it's trying to save you from.